1/3 of our planet's surface is desert. The only creatures that can survive in places like this are the ones that can walk on sand dunes, know how to conserve their precious water supply, and can escape the deadly rays of the sun. Don't worry, the desert won't get the best of George Brassard. The insects we find here are much too fascinating. Follow me, the dunes await us. We will start our expedition in Morocco, a mile beyond the village of Mohammed. We have come to the edge of the desert, near the old Kasbah that once belonged to the grandfather of Ibrahim, our guide. It was from here that great caravans once departed for distant destinations like Timbuktu. Although the goal of our expedition is to observe and collect desert insects, my Tuareg friends must make sure that nothing gets left behind. Being well prepared is second nature to them. Being a nomad is a survival tactic for desert people. When the dryness becomes absolutely unbearable, they leave the area for greener pastures. The insects here use the same strategy. Let me introduce you to one of the most feared nomads of the desert, the locust. Nothing about baby locust will lead you to believe that they can turn into an army of crop-destroying insects. Young locusts live alone and don't travel very far. They mate and lay their eggs in the ground. But every locust emerging from these eggs is capable of consuming its own weight in food in just one day. 200 acres of locusts can eat the same amount as 80,000 people or 275 tons of food. If conditions are favorable, the locust population can increase at a truly alarming rate. They have been known to gather into huge clouds which stretch out for more than 40 miles. It's no wonder that this insect was one of the Bible's 10 plagues on Egypt. Camels are truly remarkable animals. They will survive for more than 30 days on just a little water and straw, even if they have to carry over 200 pounds on their back, as well as a nervous entomologist. That's our signal to leave, and we're off. Caravans still carry plenty of goods across the Sahara, and even today, travelers journey in groups. In the past, however, This strategy was crucial to survival. The larger the caravan, the better it was able to defend itself against raids by enemy tribes. A similar tactic is used by another inhabitant of the Moroccan desert, the harvester ant. Like the Tuaregs, harvester ants depend upon the power of numbers to survive. The way they have organized their society makes it possible for them to live in even the driest regions. They specialize in collecting grain. Legions of worker ants can cover a very large area. They're always on the lookout for any kind of grain imaginable. They are also perfectly capable of finding their bearings with the help of the sun. Certain species of harvester ants build enormous underground nests with diameters that can reach from 7 to 10 yards long by over 6 feet deep. Female worker ants with huge jaws are specialists at hauling away the largest grain kernels. There's a study that shows that a colony of harvester ants is capable of collecting more than 18 million kernels of grain per acre a year. Such a large food reserve is enough for any colony to survive a famine. They say the camel is the ship of the desert. Now, I don't want to upset my trusty companion here, but I believe that desert beetles are far more deserving of the title. Several species, like the Adesmia, have very long legs that keep their bodies away from the burning heat of the sand. Other beetles can move very quickly over the dunes. Some of them seem to move just like hovercraft. You can't say that about a camel. On the other hand, traveling at this pace makes it easier for me to take in the scenery. Stop! 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 Stop!
Ibrahim, if you think the camel is the only animal in the desert with a hump, have a look at this beetle.
Several desert animals are capable of storing fat in various parts of their bodies. Camels store it in their humps. These beetles with bulging shells can also store fat. When there's a real water shortage, their bodies can manufacture a needed water supply by mixing the hydrogen atoms in their fat with oxygen atoms in the air. The Tuaregs say, Haman Iman, water means life. This is no exaggeration. Anyone walking around the Sahara can lose up to 4 gallons of water a day. Like all desert creatures, insects will do anything to find the tiniest drop of moisture. The ground temperature in the desert drops sharply during the night. This causes droplets of water to appear. Many insects use this dew to quench their thirst. Some species of darkling beetles, Hemiptera and ants, are able to gather the water that has collected between the grains of sand. Millipedes can even absorb water through the rectum. These scarabs are just as resourceful. They are busy feeding from this pile of dung before the sun dries it up. Not one drop of water, nor one speck of protein is wasted.
In the desert, any liquid means life. For example, some small vampires are hiding in these bushes and are just waiting for an animal, or even better, an entomologist, to pass by. And then they attack.
These animals, which are related to the spider, are called ticks. They move in the direction of anything that even lightly touches their bush. These ticks have good eyesight, and they will follow me even if I change directions. They may have been waiting patiently for several weeks for something to eat. Their favorite treat is often a camel. As soon as the animal bends over to eat, the ticks climb aboard and grab onto the hair. They hold on tight and stick their rostra like a beak into the camel's skin and gorge themselves on blood. This is the way the ticks survive. For them, it's a question of life or death. To keep from losing liquid through perspiration, the Tuaregs paint themselves with indigo powder. Survival in the desert is not easy. All its creatures must adapt if they hope to survive. One of the best examples is the darkling beetle, which has many tricks to share. Normally, beetles have wings hidden under their elytras. But darkling beetles have no wings, and their elytras are fused. Their shell is as hard as rock, and it's perfectly watertight. The convex bulge we see on several species covers a moist cavity that protects its respiratory system from the dryness of the outside world. During a sandstorm, camels can close their nostrils so they don't breathe in too much dust. Darkling beetles can control their breathing even more accurately. They let outside air into the humid cavity through tiny holes which are controlled by hermetically sealed valves. When they are at rest, these insects simply stop breathing, avoiding any loss of moisture. Terahut, the hour of the day when the sun is at its highest point and my energy is at its lowest. The Sahara is one of the hottest places on this planet. Temperatures can reach 136 degrees Fahrenheit in the shade, if you can find any. Lucky for us, the two Arecs are never caught unprepared. They carry their own shade on the backs of their camels. They can put up a tent in a minute and shelter us from the cruel rays of the sun. Now that we have set up camp, I will take advantage of the time to do some exploring in the area.
Inshallah.
وشوف احنا قدوا لنا المساي جبت سكر والسكر ونديروا لهم متاي ونصلحوا رقادنا ما عندنا سكر
Inshallah.
Many insects that you find on the dunes are garbage eaters. They are always on the lookout for food. They feed themselves on twigs and bits of plants that are carried by the wind, just like these pimellias. When they are disturbed, pimellias hop up and down to show they are upset. I don't know if this tactic actually frightens predators, but it makes me laugh. There, a grasshopper. This desert grasshopper does a perfect imitation of a rock. And it is so sure about its camouflage that it won't move even when I touch it. The coloring on his body has two functions. The first is to shield him from predators such as birds and lizards. His pale color also reflects the sun's rays, helping him to survive the heat. This is surely the tiniest mirage in the desert.
السلام عليكم
The sun sets on the dunes. The evening coolness comes as welcome relief. It's time to take it easy at our campsite.
camel drivers have organized a race. It's a friendly competition. But on the dunes, there's another competition that is about to begin. All desert creatures leave their shelters at dusk for other kinds of confrontations in the sand. After all, the desert is a world of predators. Speed isn't the Antia's only weapon. Some of these beetles can attack their prey by spraying formic acid from their abdomens. This rather dangerous ground beetle can move quickly from one clump of vegetation to another as it searches for prey. Any insect it finds is a potential source of water. Look at that pair of swords it has for jaws. If we can compare the Antia to a cheetah, this insect is the equivalent of an Atlas mountain lion. It's called a sun spider. It's a very active creature with an amazing appetite and a very fast metabolism. It's truly a shredding machine that can find all the liquid it needs from its prey. Large females are extremely aggressive and can easily kill scorpions or even small vertebrates like lizards. Sun spiders are capable of eating a tremendous amount of food at once. They extract every last calorie from their prey. There's a party going on at the campsite. The music they are playing is called Kedra. The song is about the fatigue of the journey and the beauty of nature. In a way, it's a celebration of life. The desert is certainly not dead. It's a place where life can survive and even triumph because of many remarkable skills and adaptations. More than anywhere else on Earth, the desert symbolizes beauty, death, courage, and struggle. The Tuaregs wisely say that the desert always wins. To survive, one must stay humble, be content with very little, and always be prepared for the unpredictable. That is indeed what humans and the insects who live here have always done.